Rain hit the jungle like bullets, thick, fast, and cold. Jason's boots were already soaked when he stepped into the overgrown clearing. Trees twisted around each other like they were alive. Vines clung to his legs like they didn't want him to pass, but he didn't stop. His heart was still pounding from the last encounter, not with a beast, but with her. The tall alien warrior with violet skin and burning silver eyes. She had saved his life yesterday only to throw him across a river 10 minutes later. All because he had touched her weapon. Her sacred blade, as she called it. Jason didn't understand what he had done wrong. He had only picked it up to move it out of the fire. It was going to melt. He thought he was helping. Instead, she screamed and tackled him like a wild animal. Now he was looking for her, or maybe for answers. The jungle around him was thick with mist, glowing faintly with bioluminescent bugs that buzzed in silence. His rifle beeped twice, power at 12%. It was dying too, then he heard it. A crash, a splash, a roar. He turned and saw smoke rising from beyond the trees. His legs moved before his mind could decide. He ran toward the danger because it felt safer than standing still. What he found stopped him cold. A burned-out enemy drone, cracked open in the mud. Next to it, that same alien woman on her knees, gasping for air, her armor cracked. Her blade was gone. Jason rushed forward. "Ah, you hurt?" She looked up, her silver eyes narrow. "You followed me, human." "You're bleeding," he said, ignoring her tone. "Let me help. Don't touch me," she shouted. Her hand went to her side. She still had a smaller knife. Jason raised his hand slowly. "I don't want to fight. I just want to talk. I didn't mean to dishonor you yesterday. I didn't know your weapon was sacred." She glared at him. "You touched my soul. My people bond with our weapons. We are one with them." Jason blinked. "Wait, you mean like it's alive?" She didn't answer. Instead, she stood up, her body shaking from the effort. Her height made Jason feel small. Even wounded, she looked like a force of nature. "You should be dead," she whispered, "but the lake rejected you. It spat you out." He stepped closer. "Then maybe it means something. Maybe I'm not your enemy." Her silver eyes flickered. "Or maybe you're cursed." A sudden rustle broke the moment. Something massive moved in the trees. Both turned quickly. Jason raised his rifle. She drew her knife. Out of the shadows came a creature, thick like a gorilla, but with metal limbs and glowing red eyes. A war beast. Jason fired once. The bolt bounced off the beast's hide. "It's armored. Distract it," she ordered and charged to the side. Jason ran left. The beast followed her instead. She moved fast, even wounded. She leapt onto a log, flipped backward, and landed on the beast's back. With a loud cry, she drove her knife into its eye socket. The beast roared, but kept thrashing. Jason saw its tail coming toward her. Without thinking, he dove and tackled her to the ground. The tail missed them both and slammed into a tree. Bark exploded into the air. They landed in the mud together. Her face was close to his. She looked stunned. "Why did you save me?" "Because you saved me first," he said simply. For a moment, she didn't move. Then she shoved him off. Don't confuse survival with mercy. The beast was still not dead. It was limping, its red eye leaking sparks. She turned to Jason. "Can your weapon kill it?" "Not unless I find the weak spot," he replied. "The underbelly maybe," she nodded. "Then we hunt together." They moved fast. Jason rolled beneath the beast as she jumped from above. Her foot slammed the creature's head down. Jason fired 3 times into the belly. Sparks flew. The beast collapsed. It was over. For now, breathing hard, Jason stood beside her. "You okay?" She wiped blood from her cheek and looked at him strangely. "You risked your life again." "You said we hunt together," he shrugged. She stared a moment longer. Then something changed in her eyes. A softness, but it vanished quickly. "Come," she said. "We must move before others come." "Others?" Jason asked. She looked back at the beast's remains. "They will smell the blood." They moved through the jungle in silence. The mist grew heavier. Her steps were steady, though her limp worsened. Jason offered to help, but she refused. Still, she didn't stop him from walking close. Eventually, they reached a rocky cliffside. A narrow cave opened behind the vines. She pulled them aside and stepped in. Jason followed without question. Inside, the air was warm and dry. Crystals glowed along the walls. It was peaceful here, hidden from the war above. She sat down and finally let herself breathe. "You are different from the others." Jason smiled. Faintly. "Thanks, I think." She looked at him again. "But if you ever touch my blade again, I will drown you myself." Jason raised both hands and gave a nervous laugh. "Noted. No touching the magic sword." She didn't smile. But she didn't stop him from sitting beside her either. Jason didn't sleep much inside the cave. Every sound outside made him think of creatures hunting in the dark. The alien woman sat near the entrance, eyes half closed but always alert. Her name, he learned, was Viraya. She didn't speak unless necessary. But when she did, her voice had power. She moved with purpose even when tired. Jason couldn't stop glancing at her weaponless back. Her sacred blade was still missing. "How do we find it?" he finally asked. She turned her head slightly. "We don't. It will call me when the time is right," Jason frowned. "What? If someone else finds it?" "They won't live long," she replied without emotion. By morning, they moved again. Jason followed her through the cliffs, across broken rocks, and into a valley filled with glowing blue flowers. It was beautiful, but Viraya didn't stop to look. She had war in her bones. Jason tried to keep up. "So what now? Are we still being hunted?" "Yes, by both sides." He blinked. "Wait, both? Your people and mine?" She nodded once. "You touched my weapon. They think you defiled it. And I didn't kill you. That makes me a traitor." Jason swallowed. "That's messed up," she didn't reply. Instead, she pointed to a path leading downward. Smoke curled in the air. A ruined battlefield. The wreckage of a skirmish lay ahead. Crushed ships, broken machines, and bodies that no longer looked human or alien. Jason moved cautiously between the metal pieces. "Did this happen yesterday?" "No," Viraya answered. "This is from a month ago. But it still burns." Jason spotted something among the ruins, a silver shimmer. He ran toward it. It was a piece of her blade, broken and half buried in dirt. He picked it up and held it out. "Is this part of your weapon?" Viraya's eyes widened. She took it carefully. "It's the heart metal, the core. How did you know?" Jason shrugged. It looked important. She stared at him again, like she was trying to read something deeper inside him. "You shouldn't be able to touch it." "Why?" "Because only one soul can bond with it. And I never let it bond." "With you," she whispered. They stood in silence. Then the wind changed. A screech came from the hills. Shadows moved fast above them, drones, not friendly. Jason ducked. Viraya moved faster. She pulled him behind a burnt engine. "They saw us," she said. "We must split." "No," Jason said. "We fight better together." She hesitated. "You will die. Maybe, but I'm not running. Not from this." For the first time, her lips curved slightly, almost a smile. She nodded. "Then stay low. Aim for their wings." They moved fast. Jason shot down 2 drones. Viraya used her broken blade like a dagger. It still pulsed with strange light. She threw it into the core of one drone. It exploded with fire. Smoke covered the valley. Jason coughed hard. He saw her stumble from the edge. Blood ran down her leg. He ran to her and helped her up. "I said I wouldn't leave," he reminded. She leaned against him for a moment. "You are stubborn." "Thanks," he said. They didn't stay. More would come. They moved toward the mountains now. Higher ground. She said there was a temple there, hidden, ancient, and full of forbidden tech. Maybe even the rest of her weapon. Night came fast. They stopped near a waterfall. Jason cleaned her wound. She let him touch her this time. Carefully. Her eyes didn't glare. She watched him silently. "Why did you become a warrior?" he asked. "My mother was a general. My father was executed." Jason looked up. For what? For loving a human. Jason froze. She looked away. "It is forbidden. Your kind we were taught to hate, but you don't." She didn't answer for a long time. Then she whispered, "I don't know anymore." They sat in silence. The stars above them looked sharper. Here, clearer. Jason leaned back against a rock, watching the sky. Virea finally spoke again. "If you return to your people, they will study you, use you." Jason turned to her. "And your people? They will kill me." "Then maybe we find a third way," Jason said. She tilted her head. "There is no third way. There always is," he said. "We just have to make it." Her hand moved slowly. She placed the broken piece of her blade between them. It pulsed faintly. "It still remembers you." Jason looked at it. "I didn't mean to touch it. I didn't even know. It chose you somehow," she said. "Or maybe you called to it without knowing." He touched it again. The light grew stronger. She didn't stop him this time. Jason's voice was quiet. "I think it's not just a weapon," she nodded slowly. "No, it's a key." "A key to what?" She looked at the mountain ahead. "To something my people buried long ago. A secret that could end the war." Jason stood. "Then let's go find it." And for the first time she didn't argue. The mountain trail was steep and narrow. Every step was hard, but Jason kept climbing. The air grew colder as they went higher. Virea walked in silence, the broken piece of her sacred blade held tightly in her hand. It glowed faintly, like it was pulling her toward something. They didn't talk much. Words weren't needed. The mountain knew their purpose. It seemed to breathe around them. Wind pushed against their backs. Birds didn't sing here. Even nature held its breath. Halfway up, they found a stone gate hidden under thick vines. Symbols were carved across the wall, strange and ancient. Jason couldn't read them. But Virea traced her fingers across the marks, whispering softly. "It says the temple is sealed. Only blood and bond may open it." Jason frowned. "Blood and bond?" She nodded. "It means sacrifice and connection." Virea took out a small knife and cut her palm. The blood dripped onto the stone. Nothing happened. Then she handed the blade to Jason. "You must do the same." He didn't ask questions. He cut his palm and pressed it beside hers. The moment the blood touched the stone, the gate groaned and opened slowly. Inside was darkness, deep and thick. Jason turned on his wrist light. The walls were smooth and black. A long tunnel stretched into the earth. The air smelled like old metal and forgotten time. They walked together, side by side. Jason noticed her breathing slow. She seemed nervous, but her face stayed calm. They moved deeper until they entered a large chamber. It was circular, with a platform in the middle. On that platform floated the missing half of her blade. It shimmered with the same silver light as before. As Virea stepped closer, the broken piece in her hand vibrated. Jason stayed back and watched. She placed her fragment on the platform. The two halves pulled toward each other, merging in a flash of light. The blade was whole again. But something else changed. The air cracked like lightning. A deep hum echoed through the chamber. Then the walls lit up, showing images of war, peace, and stars burning. Virea stepped back. "It is awake now." Jason looked around. "What is it?" She pointed to the walls. This was a vault. My people stored knowledge here. And warnings. One image showed a figure holding the blade, standing between two armies. The armies stopped fighting. Jason stared. "That's you." "No," she said. "That's the first bearer of the blade. The one who ended the ancient war." Jason moved closer. "And now it's your turn?" She didn't answer, but her hand rested on the weapon with care. Then a new sound came, a voice, robotic but old. From above, a machine eye opened. It scanned them both. Identities matched. Human and Surratt bonded. Sequence confirmed. Jason took a step back. "What does that mean?" "The blade has chosen." "Both of us," Varaya said. "We are now linked." "Linked how?" She looked at him. "I don't know, but we must leave now." "They will come." Jason grabbed the blade and handed it to her. "Then let's go." She didn't take it. "You hold it." Jason blinked. "What? You touched it first." "It bonded to you faster than it did to me. That makes you the keeper now." Jason stared at the weapon. It didn't burn. It didn't reject him. It pulsed gently in his hands. "This is too much, but it is already done," she said. They left the chamber and ran back through the tunnel. When they reached the surface, the sky was red. A fleet hovered in the clouds. Not hers, a third force. One neither of them recognized. Varaya's eyes narrowed. They followed the signal. From the blade? Yes, it activated. The vault. Now they know where we are. Jason raised the weapon. Can it fight? Yes, but that is not its only purpose. What else can it do? It can command, she said. If they follow the old code, the blade's signal will stop their attack. Jason looked at the sky. Dropships began to descend. Troops formed in lines. Weapons aimed. And if they don't follow it? Then we make them, she said. Jason stepped forward. The troops aimed at him. Varaya walked beside him, unarmed but proud. She raised her empty hands. Jason lifted the blade high. Its light beamed into the sky. For a moment, everything paused. Then a deep voice echoed from the lead ship. Who holds the blade? Jason took a breath. I do. Silence followed. Then, movement. A large warrior stepped forward, armor dark and strange. His face was hidden, but his voice was cold. You are not Surratt. No, Jason said. But the blade chose me. The warrior didn't move. Then prove it. Jason glanced at Varaya. She nodded once. Speak its name. Jason held the weapon tightly. The word came to him like a whisper inside his mind. He spoke it aloud. The light of the blade surged. The sky cracked with thunder. The army froze. The warrior bowed his head. We follow the blade. Jason lowered his arm slowly. The army stood down. Ships pulled away. The danger passed. Varaya looked at him. You were meant for this. I didn't ask for it, Jason said. None of us did, she replied. Asterisk the army that once aimed weapons at them now stood down. Their leader, the dark-armored warrior, walked slowly toward Jason. Every step echoed on the rocky ground. Jason gripped the sacred blade tighter but didn't raise it. Varaya stayed at his side, silent and alert. The warrior removed his helmet. He had gray skin and sharp features, unlike any soldier Jason had seen. His eyes glowed faint blue. You are not of our blood, yet the blade answers you. Why? Jason stayed calm. I don't know why it chose me, but it did. The warrior looked at Varaya. And you, traitor, you let him hold what is not his. Varaya stepped forward. I followed the blade's will. I did what no one else dared. You broke oath, the warrior growled. You dishonored your house. I saved what your council forgot, she said. The blade's bond was never about blood. It was about worth. The soldiers around them murmured. The air grew heavy. Jason raised his voice. I don't want your war. I want peace. But if you come for us again, I will not back down." The warrior studied him, then slowly dropped to one knee. "The blade leads." "We follow." Jason looked at Viraya. She gave a small nod. It was over. For now, they stayed in the mountain for the night. The soldiers left quietly. Viraya built a fire while Jason watched the blade lying between them. Its light was steady, calm, but something inside it felt alive. "Why me?" Jason asked again. Viraya stared into the flames. "Sometimes the blade chooses someone outside. The circle. To break the old ways. To end cycles that never stop." Jason tossed a small stick into the fire. "So I'm some kind of symbol now?" "No," she said. "You're a challenge." He raised an eyebrow. "To what?" "To everything," she answered. In the morning they traveled west. Viraya said there was one last shrine. If they activated it, the blade's full power would return. Only then could they speak to both sides with true authority. Jason agreed without hesitation. They crossed empty fields broken by ancient ruins. Strange machines lay buried in dirt. Jason touched one and saw it spark. Viraya warned him not to disturb the dead tech. "This land remembers everything," she said. They reached a wide canyon by noon. The only way across was a narrow rope bridge swaying in the wind. Viraya stepped on it first. "Don't look down." Jason followed carefully. "Why is it always a rope bridge?" "It tests your fear," she replied without turning back. The wind picked up. The bridge swayed harder. Jason gritted his teeth. One of the ropes snapped. He dropped to his hands and knees. Viraya turned and pulled him forward. Her strength didn't match her size. It was far greater. Once across, Jason stood up, brushing dust from his pants. "I hate bridges." She didn't respond. She only looked at the shrine ahead. It was built into the canyon wall. Ancient and cracked, but still strong. Symbols across the doorway glowed as they approached. Jason raised the blade. It lit up with new energy. The shrine doors opened with a deep hum. Inside, a platform awaited them. Carvings on the floor showed scenes of war and peace, of unity and betrayal. Jason stepped forward. "What do I do?" Viraya pointed to the center. "Place the blade in the heart of the circle." He did. The floor lit up beneath his feet. Light traveled along the carvings, reaching every corner of the shrine. Then a voice, deep and old, spoke from the walls. "Bearer of the blade, speak your desire." Jason looked at Viraya. Then forward. "I want the war to end. Will you carry the weight of both bloodlines?" "Yes." "Will you fight if peace is rejected?" "I will." "Then the blade is yours. Its power will answer your truth." The light surged. The blade floated into the air and split into two smaller blades. One floated to Jason, the other to Viraya. She stared at it, then caught it gently. Jason held his in both hands. It felt lighter but stronger. Energy moved through his skin, through his chest. He felt connected to something bigger. "This changes everything," Viraya whispered. Jason nodded. "Let's go change it." They left the shrine together. No one stopped them. No traps. No resistance. But the wind whispered warnings. The final battle wasn't over. It was just beginning. As they reached the edge of the canyon, Viraya stopped. "There is something I must ask." Jason turned. "What is it?" "If peace fails, will you strike down my people?" Jason looked at her for a long moment. "Only if they try to kill yours, or me." She nodded. "Fair. But I'll fight. For peace first," he added. Viraya looked toward the horizon. "Then we have one chance left." Jason held the blade tightly. The metal pulsed under his fingers. Jason and Viraya walked across the plains that led to the council spire. It was a tall black tower standing in the middle of the Deadlands. Around it were ruins of old battlefields, rusted weapons, and graves with no names. The air was dry. Dust moved in circles with every step. Neither of them spoke. The silence was heavier than before. It was the calm before a final decision. The twin blades they now carried glowed faintly in their hands. Jason looked ahead. Will they listen? Virea kept her eyes on the spire. They will pretend to, but they will test you first. Test how? By fear, by anger, by memory. They will try to break your heart before they hear your words, she said. Jason took a deep breath. Then I'll show them what my heart is made of. Guards waited at the spire's gate. Their armor was heavy. Their eyes were cold. One step forward. State your purpose. Jason raised his blade. We come to end the war. The guards drew weapons. The ground vibrated slightly, but none moved closer. The glowing blades stopped them in place. One of the guards spoke again. Only the council may decide that. Then let them see us, Virea said. The gates opened with a slow rumble. Inside, the air was warmer. The tower was filled with blue crystals, old data scrolls, and silent watchers. Jason followed Virea through tall halls, feeling like he was walking into history. They entered the council chamber. 5 figures in long robes sat on raised platforms. All looked down at them with sharp, judging eyes. One of them stood. Why does a human hold our sacred weapon? Because your weapon chose me, Jason said. You expect us to believe that? I don't expect you to believe anything. I expect you to see what it means. Virea stepped forward. He did not take the blade. He was chosen by it. And by me. You are a traitor, one counselor hissed. No, I am a witness, she replied. I saw what our war has become. I saw what we have forgotten. Another counselor stood. What do you want, human? Jason walked to the center. He placed his blade on the floor between them. I want the killing to stop. I want your people in mind to live, not in fear, not in fire, but side by side. You ask too much. Then you've already lost. Jason said, because the blade knows peace is possible. The blade glowed brighter. The chamber walls lit up. Ancient symbols danced in the air, showing moments of peace in the past. Alliances long buried, hope that was once real. The counselors stared. One stepped forward. And if peace breaks, human? Jason looked up. Then I will fight again. But not for one side, for both. The room fell into silence. Then one of the oldest counselors spoke. There is one who will never accept this. She leads the outer fleets. She believes in fire. Then I'll speak to her, Jason said. She will not listen. I'll make her, Virea nodded. She was my mother. Jason's eyes widened. Your mother leads the war? She was the first blade bearer, before she passed it to me, before she gave in to hate. The council seemed uneasy. If you can make her stand down, peace may be real. Jason picked up the blade. Then send us to her. A ship waited for them outside the tower. It was old but fast. Powered by the shrine's energy, Jason sat beside Virea in the cockpit. Neither spoke until the ship rose into the sky. Finally, Jason asked, do you think she'd try to kill us? Yes. Will you fight her? If I must. Jason looked at her. I hope we don't have to. She nodded. Hope is all we have left. The stars outside moved quickly. The enemy flagship hovered above a gray moon. The ship was shaped like a claw, dark and massive. The closer they got, the heavier Jason felt. They landed on the command deck. No guards met them. Only silence. The doors opened slowly. Inside stood one figure, tall, proud, wearing a blade of her own. Her eyes burned gold. She spoke first. You bring shame to my blood. Virea stepped forward. I bring truth. You bring poison. I bring peace. The woman looked at Jason. And you? You are the one they talk about. The human with the blade. Jason nodded. Yes, and I'm here to talk. There's no talk, only war. Not anymore, Jason said. The woman drew her sword. Virea did the same. Jason stepped between them. His blade pulsed with white light. You can strike me down, but the war will end anyway. Because your people are tired. Because your daughter remembers what you forgot. The woman stared at him, her sword lowered slightly. Her eyes flicked to Virea. Do you stand against me? I stand for the future, Virea said. The silence was long. But her mother did not attack. The air between them felt like ice. Jason kept his blade raised, not to fight, but to block. Virea's mother, High Commander Soraka, stood just a step away, her blade trembling with fury. Her golden eyes burned, but she did not strike. Virea slowly stepped to her mother's side. You taught me to fight for truth. That is what I'm doing. You fight beside a human. That is betrayal. No, that is growth. That is change. Soraka's voice dropped. I gave you the blade. I gave you everything. And the blade chose him instead, Virea said without shame. Jason spoke calmly. You want to protect your people. I understand that, but this war is killing both sides. The galaxy is burning. We can stop it. Soraka looked down at his blade. It should not answer you. It does, he replied. And it shows me your people want peace. They just don't know how to ask for it. Her grip on the sword loosened. The fire in her eyes faded a little. She looked at Virea again. You believe he can change things? I believe we can change them together, Virea said. Jason stepped back and lowered his weapon. You can kill me now if that's what you still want. Or you can help us. Be remembered as the one who ended the war, not fed it. For a moment, no one breathed. Then Soraka dropped her sword. It clanged against the floor. She turned away. You have one chance. If they fire on us again, it ends. Agreed. Jason said. Virea nodded. We won't fail. With Soraka's signal, the fleets were called back. Messages were sent to both governments. A ceasefire began within hours. Not all accepted it at first. But the blade's light had been seen across the system. It was the symbol of peace they couldn't ignore. Jason and Virea stood together on the balcony of the council spire. Below them, crowds of both species gathered. No weapons, only questions. Only hope. Jason looked at Virea. We did it. Not yet, she said. This is only the start. The council stepped out behind them. They bowed to both of them. Virea bowed back. Jason gave a simple nod. He was never one for formality. He just wanted the killing to stop. Later that night, they walked alone through the ruins of the shrine. The blade floated between them, whole and silent. Its glow pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Jason placed his hand on it. What now? We rebuild, Virea said. We teach, we remember. Jason sat down on a stone. And us? She looked at him for a long moment. Then sat beside him. You were a stranger who touched what should not be touched. And you threw me into a lake, Jason added with a smile. She didn't smile, but her eyes softened. And now you carry the heart of my people. Jason nodded. I'll carry it well. I know. They sat in silence, the stars above watching them. The blade lay between them, not as a weapon now, but as a symbol. A promise that even enemies could become something else. A new signal was sent from the shrine that night. Not a call to war, but a call to unity. It reached every outpost, every ship, every station. It carried a voice that said the war was over. That peace had a name. That name was chosen, and the galaxy listened.